Yeah, so this is going to be quite a broad-ranging talk. It's one of the things that happens if you send an academic away on sabbatical for a year. They come back. So I went away for a year to Microsoft and the HIT lab in New Zealand because I'd come to the realization that consumer VR, virtual reality had arrived. Right, you could just go down to the local PC World and buy something which is pretty decent. So, what was the research now? So, how do we interface with that ecosystem? How do we impact those companies? And some of that was based on some frustration of trying to work with them, and very similar to Alan's comments about HDR. They sometimes have heard of the conferences that you publish in, but there's a lot going on that which isn't really informed by the academic work, and it's frustrating as an academic. Anyway, so I came, and we had worked on all sorts of different things. So I'll cover some work today that's in 5 quite different areas, and I'll do that for a reason. Which is I came back saying, nothing's really changed, actually. There's huge numbers of interesting problems out there, and we're really only just at the start of another generation of sort of competent mixed reality devices. And we can have an interesting discussion afterwards, possibly over a CISC beer, about whether or not we're in the 4th or 5th wave of virtual reality equipment, but there's a 6th, a 7th, an 8th, a 9th probably coming for various reasons. So I'll just start by showing you a little bit about where we came from. So this is the system that I turned up at Queen Mary College in London, and we were doing virtual reality of this type. Those are all the polygons. You can't get any more boxes in that corridor because that means there's too many polygons in the scene. And the head-mounted display we're using, if you saw it on the bottom left, it'll pan back up again in a second, is a virtual research flight helmet. Until about 3 years ago, that was the highest field of view head-mounted display in our lab because it had a piece of optics in it called Leap Optics, which is exactly what you don't put in a consumer virtual reality system now because the optics weighs more than the head-mounted display. So this is a piece of technology I built. It's called the virtual treadmill. You walk on the spot, and it recognizes that. You're using neural nets because I started off doing AI and VR, and it recognizes where you're going and then moves you through the environment. So you don't have to press a button or any silly gestures to